Okay, here's our video on solving addition equations. And remember, equations have equal signs. And they're basically just equal expressions. So if you look at here, we have 3 plus 2, that's an expression, and 5 is an expression, and 3 plus 2 does equal 5. Now if it didn't equal, let's say for example 3 plus 3, we know 3 plus 3 is 6. It does not equal 2. So this sign right here, this is the not equal sign. Just put a slash through the equal sign. So if we had an equation here, x plus 3 equals 5, we can just look at it and know that x should be 2. Right? If we plug in 2, 2 plus 3 is 5. So here's things to know about equations. Equations have two sides, and they're separated by the equal sign. That's why this line's here, just to show that there's two sides of an equation. Now, x plus 4 equals 38 could also be 38 equals x plus 4. It's the same thing. So again, the equal sign separates the two expressions in the equation. Here's some rules we want to do. We want to get the variable alone on one side. Right? So, let's look at this. We have x plus 6 equals 12.6. We want this x all alone. Well, the 6 is in the way. So when we have addition, we always want to do the opposite operation. The opposite operation is subtraction. So what we want to do is we want to subtract the 6 on both sides. A plus 6 and a minus 6 cancel out. Now the x is by itself. Remember another rule. Whatever you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So 12.6 minus 6 is 6.6. So our answer, x is 6.6. Let's look at a word problem. When a kitten came home, it weighed 15 ounces. So keep that 15 in your mind. After 2 years, it weighed 120 ounces. So how can we make an equation with this? Well, we know we had a 15 to begin with, right? That's how much it initially weighed, 15 ounces. Eventually, it's going to, in 2 years, weigh 120. So we want to know how much it gained. I could put a G for gained, or any variable will do. So we have 15 plus G equals 120. See if you can solve that equation. Now, just by looking at it, you could have solved the equation by doing 120 minus 15. And that's the key word, minus 15. Remember, we want G, the variable, all alone on one side of this equation. Now 15 is positive. We want to do the opposite operation. Since there's no sign here, we know it's positive, so we're going to do a minus 15. And instinctively you knew that 120 minus 15 will give us the answer. Alright, so a 15, positive 15 and minus 15 cancel out. Whatever you do to one side, remember you have to do to the other side. And G will equal 105. Let's do another word problem with decimals. A cat gained 1.8 pounds in a year. It now weighs 11.6 pounds. How would you make an equation with that? Here's the equation. 11.6 is what it now weighs. Right? It gained this much. The W stands for what it initially weighed, or any variable you could use. Try to solve that equation using the steps we have done. Okay, so if we subtract 1.8 on both sides, that cancels. And then whatever you do to one side, you do to the other. And W will equal 9.8. Right? Now sometimes when you see equations, you might see negatives. Right? So a negative 5 plus h equals 20. We can flip it around if we wanted to. Right? We can, because it's positive, it's a commutative, right? We can make it h minus 5, but I'll talk about that in another video. But when you have a minus 5, again, we want to do the opposite operation, so we would do plus 5 on both sides. That cancel out. And whatever you do to the one side, do to the other, and so h will equal 25. Okay, that's the video on adding equations. We'll do subtracting equations next.